for her statement. I now give the floor to His Excellency Marcelo Ebrard Casombo, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Mexico. Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Señor Presidente.
Mr. President, distinguished heads of state, heads of government, and delegates, it is an honor for me today to address you. I'm doubly honored because this is a very high rostrum, the highest of all, and because I represent a new government of Mexico, recently elected, which has not yet been in power for a year. The government is headed by Andrés Manuel López Obrador. The objective, the purpose of my government is to take charge of the fourth transformation of Mexico. In its history, Mexico has had three major transformations. The first was the independence of Mexico. The second was the liberal reform headed by Benito Juárez and the restoration of the Republic. And the third was the Mexican Revolution. Today, we are in the fourth transformation. And what this means is that it's not only a change of government, it's also a change of regime in Mexico. What is the purpose of this fourth transformation? President López Obrador has asked himself how to summarize best what he proposes to do. And first of all, what we propose to do in Mexico is put an end to corruption, separate the economic power from the political power, and install respect for the standards of the Republic and of austerity, and to have a different relationship with society from that which we had in recent years. Secondly, we wish to reduce inequality in our country because, as you are aware, we still have more than 52 million people living in poverty. Even though we are one of the largest economies in the world, with a major and successful export platform. Reducing inequality, then, is the second great cause. The third is to increase economic growth on the basis of self-confidence with productivity, innovation, the ability to organize, and a presence across the world. And that is what Mexico is doing today. And the fourth objective, as a result of the first three, is for Mexico to be a safe society and for us to have peace and security for Mexican families. To summarize, Mexico has recovered its self-confidence. And today, what I would like to tell you is that one of the first things of interest to us is to strengthen, broaden, and deepen our participation in the multilateral system, to effective multilateralism. We are aware that these are difficult times, that there are many challenges and risks for global coexistence, for security, for peace between nations. And it is time for Mexico, renewed and secure, to broadly participate in an intense way to strengthen our multilateral order and its roots. This is why Mexico recently presented its candidacy to be a member of the Security Council in 2021. And also, in many of the important areas of activity and Mexico's priorities, we've sought the support of the United Nations Organization in these months, and we will continue to do so by adhering and fully participating in the causes that we all defend. First of all, I should say that our foreign policy and our participation in the United Nations Organization is going to be guided by the principles of Mexican public life, of non-intervention, self-determination of peoples, peaceful resolution of conflicts, and disputes. And for that reason, in the area of Latin America and the Caribbean, I'd like to share with you that Mexico opposes measures such as the blockade of Cuba or the imposition of sanctions on countries. And we advocate for dialogue and communication to be used so that peoples and nations can resolve their disputes. Peace is based on policy as a method, not on the exercise of force. We are committed to defend and expand the values of liberty and human rights. Mexico will resolutely participate to support the call made by the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, to speed up our work to prevent climate change, to redouble our efforts. We've already presented additional actions, and we believe that it's an issue of the survival of humanity, and therefore there can be no delay and no excuse when it comes to making these commitments. We also believe that Mexico is going to participate intensively in the area and the promotion of solutions to migratory flows and the inequalities we are seeing in several regions of the world. It is sufficient to say that this year, so far, in Central America and Mexico, there are migratory flows that have broken the records of previous years. We're talking of 1,300,000 people moving. So we're in one of the regions with the greatest migratory flows in the world. Mexico has proposed to the United Nations, and I would like to thank the Secretary General at this point for his support. We asked that he supports CEPAL, which is the instrument of Latin America and the Caribbean for development, to develop a comprehensive plan for the south of Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. This plan was presented yesterday with the participation and support of 18 agencies of the United Nations and of 35 countries so far. I mentioned effective multilateralism because we fully adhere to multilateralism and because we believe it is the most effective way that we have to resolve the major problems that the world faces today. In the case of migration, we believe that coercive measures have no prospect of success. We believe that migration should be an option. It should not be forced because of insecurity and poverty. And therefore, we have great expectations from this comprehensive development plan, which I just mentioned. And Mexico has offered its cooperation to move this forward over 5 times this year. In this way, we wish to demonstrate that